everyone. Day 2 of our new reality. How y'all doing? How you holding up? I finally broke down and ugly cried during Harris's concession speech yesterday, and cried on and off since then. And this morning on my walk, I kind of had a little breakthrough, little breakdown, and I was thinking, I have a phoenix rising from the ashes tattoo on my entire back. And that's kind of what happened this morning. I'm starting to rise from the ashes of all of this. I'm Carolyn. This is my political channel called As I See It. I also have an RV Life channel where for more than 8 years I've been making videos about my life. A lot of things about my life, my personal story of being a survivor and more, and also how I navigate through the world in this new chapter of my life living in an RV. So if you clicked here because you saw my face, this is not about RV life. I have felt this anyway all the time, but especially now. How do you separate politics from life? People have always complained whenever I have brought up politics on my other channel. You can't separate politics from life, especially now when millions of lives are going to be affected, when women are going to die because of choices politicians make. So let me tell you, I'm going to share something personal, and let me tell you part of why this is hitting so hard for me and for millions of us. And then I want to talk about, as women, and not just women, as men too, because this message is going to also be directed at men. And I know a lot of men have a similar story to mine in being a survivor. I know men have reached out to me, and I know it's a lot harder for men to talk about SA. But for those of you who don't get it, who maybe voted for him and just don't fully understand our anger. I mean, there's a lot of reasons, but for me, especially, he's just a horrible, evil person. I don't know how anybody can deny that. Selfish to the core. But he has also been found liable by a jury, not a crooked judge, not Jack Smith, not Fani Willis, not a corrupt DOJ, not Joe Biden, by a jury of his peers who sat there and listened to evidence and found him liable for sexually assaulting E.G. Carroll. That is a fact. Both lawyers got to choose that jury. Both lawyers vetted the individuals on that jury. So if you think that even the jury was corrupt, has Trump derangement syndrome, and just couldn't wait to find him guilty, it was a civil case, so it's not guilty, it's liability. If you really think that all of everything was so corrupt down to a jury of Americans like you and me, I invite you to do some self-reflection, because that's crazy. It's literally insane. I tried to go down an empathetic path with that, and then I ended up on a you're insane, and I'm sorry. But we know that is true. He know that he was found liable. We also know that many other women have come forward. We know that his first wife has accused him of SA, and then all of a sudden she retracted her story. I think she was threatened or paid off. There are ties to Jeffrey Epstein. There are pictures. We know this man. And here's the other thing. Even if you discount all of the evidence, if you don't believe the women, if you somehow think the jury was corrupt, listen to how he talks about women. Listen to what he says. He's on tape saying he grabs women without their permission. That's not just locker room talk. And then he said the other day, I'm going to protect women whether they like it or not. That's what a rapist says. I'm going to give it to you whether you like it or not. I don't care what you want. What I want goes. What I say goes. And here is, I'm going to share something personal about me. Many of you who follow me on my RV Life channel already know parts of this. I have been sexually assaulted many times. It started with my father when I was 9, 10 years old, and it continued as a pattern because of that throughout my life, where I attracted that. The next one, I was 13 years old. He was 22. And through a lot of hard work, years and years and years of therapy, and going down some very dark places, addiction, drug addiction, alcoholism, and all of the things that happen that people like me, survivors, often do to run away from that, to escape that truth. Through a lot of recovery and therapy, I now can spot a predator a million miles away. Literally a million. Like, I can see a video of someone trying to hide, behind a persona or whatever online. I'm like, that person is a predator. I know. And Trump is a predator. Without a doubt, Trump is a predator. And here is what has happened for millions of us, men and women, but mostly women, who are also survivors. Here is what has just happened. You put my father in charge of making decisions for my entire life. You put every victim, every survivor's assailant, rapist, in charge of their life. On TV every day, in the most powerful office in the world, you gave him the reins to carte blanche, whatever you want. Here you go. Oh, all those women lied. That's what you have done. And that's why we are taking it so hard. That's one of the reasons. Not to mention all the other, besides assaulting women, all the other human rights violations that are going to occur against our fellow human beings. Our gay friends, our trans friends, our black friends, our immigrant friends, our Mexican friends, our South American friends, all of the human rights violations that will occur because this man is a predator who only cares about himself. And I know that deep in my soul. And I know a lot of Trump apologists are going to listen to this and are going to look at me, and I've seen it in my comments, and say that I'm fucked up. That I'm just fucked up because of what happened to me. And I'm not seeing clearly. And I'm projecting all of my shit on him. No, I've done the work. 15 years of fucking therapy. Hard knocked me to my knees in my apartment crying for weeks. Fucking gut-wrenching, soul-searching fucking therapy. Have you? So no, this isn't just about my unresolved issues. My issues are resolved, and I am seeing very clearly. I know what Trump is. And now you have given all of our abusers, because he's been abusing us, this toxic, disgusting bullying, you have given him the keys to the kingdom. And so this morning, I was on my walk, and I've been wavering back and forth since yesterday between just, I want to disappear. This is just so hard. It's so disappointing that I just want to disappear. That's one side of what I'm feeling. The other side is I can't disappear. I have to stay and fight. And this morning I was on my first walk with my first cup of coffee, my leisurely coffee walk. And I broke down. And I was like, I just want to disappear. That's it. I'm just gonna disappear. I'll buy a piece of land and build a homestead and just check out. I'll completely check out. And then something rose inside me, some seed of knowing. Not only am I a survivor, I have been a woman online for the last 8+ years. Actually, 8 years this month, right after the election, the 2016 election, I posted my first video. And I have been a woman online sharing my story. And I have felt and seen and experienced and read every attempt you can imagine from men who want to shut me up. My own father tried to shut me up. When I first started getting therapy when I was 17 or 18, he left when I was 10, thank God. But I tracked him down when I was 17 when I first had this realization. Long story. You can read it in my memoir someday. But long story, I called him and confronted him with it. And what do you think he did? How many times has an assaulter, a rapist, a child Emmer, I don't know if I can say that without getting demonetized or taken down, but have you ever heard of someone admitting it? Have you ever heard of someone saying, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I was horrible. I feel terrible." Just like Trump. People are like, "Well, he's denying it." Yeah. Has a criminal, especially a rapist, ever fucking said, "Yeah, you're right. I did it and I'm sorry"? Ever in the history of humanity and the patriarchy has a rapist ever apologized and admitted it? No. He tried to shut my phone. Father tried to shut me. "Oh, you're misremembering. Oh, no, your mother filled your head with lies. Oh, that's not true. I remember certain things." So, men trying to shut me up, stop me from talking my truth, goes way back. And when I started sharing myself online, oh boy, death threats. I mean, the craziest, most insane shit I have dealt with of men wanting to shut me up. They don't want to hear our stories. And part of the reason they want to shut us up is because when we all start talking, it empowers each and every one of us. For my whole life, I felt alone. I felt like there was something wrong with me. I felt broken. I felt like someone, like he had broken me and that I was forever flawed. That's what I carried with me until I got help. And when we carry that feeling with us, we attach ourselves to horrible men. So they never have to do better. They never have to go to therapy. They never have to look inward, because as long as we're broken, as long as there are broken women, they'll take broken men. And it creates this world of mediocre or worse men getting to skate by. But when we talk, when we share our stories, when we start realizing how big this is, the Harvey Weinsteins and the Jeffrey Epsteins and the Trumps of the world, when we start talking, they start being held accountable. And that's why they want to shut us up. And that is what scares me so much about this presidency, about the Trump presidency. They have given men permission to rape us. By electing a rapist, they have given men permission to take what they want from all of us. It's no big deal. No big deal. And if they come forward, they're lying. Oh, Trump has money, so women always say that. Oh, it's just Trump derangement syndrome. They're just trying to take down a powerful man. They said that about Harvey Weinstein. They said that about, what's his name? The other one? The one that died. I just lost his name. Jeffrey Epstein. My father and his apologists said that about him. Oh, he's a war hero. He's decorated. Blah, blah, blah. He's not any of those things. But that's what men do. So, by electing one of those, basically, one of our abusers, putting him in the most powerful office, arguably, in the world, what you're telling us is what they're telling us. We don't matter. Nothing above the neck matters. Spread your legs and make babies. That's all you're good for. Spread your legs whenever I want you to, but not too much, because then you're a whore. That all we are objects and incubators for them. This isn't exaggeration. This isn't hyperbole. This is truth. This is what you have told us by electing him. And so my breakdown this morning. This realization that all my life men have tried to silence me. And this is just another way to silence us. They want us scared. They want us to give up. They want to put us back in our position. They want us meek. They don't want whole, autonomous, human women beings. Because we challenge them. We challenge their power. We challenge their supremacy. We challenge their very mediocre, toxic being. And they don't want that. They want to continue on their horrible, disgusting, grabbing whatever they want for themselves selves. They want to keep that. This is the patriarchy. And so I am not disappearing. I am not backing down. I fucking refuse to back down. I am not going to let them silence me. As long as I can speak, I will speak. As long as I am allowed a platform here, I will use my platform. I am not being silenced ever again. And this is why I care so much about trans rights and LGBTQ rights and the rights, civil rights of black people and brown people and everything in between. Is because when we stay silent, we suffer. We feel alone. It leads to unaliving ourselves. I mean, I attempted that. I've talked about this before a couple times when I was a teenager. When we isolate marginalized people, they die. And that's why our voices are so important. So like I said yesterday, and it was kind of off the cuff, just kind of came to me and at the end of yesterday's video, we have lost control on a big scale. We have lost control of our government. We have, I think, arguably lost control of at least our Supreme Court. I don't know how our other courts are going to hold up. On a macro level, we have lost control. That's a fact. We now have Project 2025 extremist, right-wing, crazy fucking men in charge of our lives, of our bodies, of our futures. But we can continue to fight on the micro level. We can, and I really think that this is where we're going to fight, where we're going to resist, is helping people on an individual scale. And that's why I wanted to make this video today. This video today is about protecting women in the future and some things that we can do right now to make sure our daughters, your daughters, our daughters, right? The humanity, I don't know, belongs to all of us. That's kind of weird, but you know what I mean. I care about your daughters too. Our nieces, our friends, our relatives, our granddaughters. We need to start protecting them today. And I'm going to give you some things that you can do. Number one, stock up on Plan B. Plan B is available over the counter at any drugstore, at Walmart. I looked it up. It's like $50. I'm not sure if it was $50 for one dose. Get as much as you can. Supply up on Plan B. And if you don't know how Plan B works, I've used it a couple times. If you are concerned that you had intercourse and you might be pregnant, maybe the condom broke, maybe you ran out of birth control, or worst case scenario, you were SA'd. Plan B can stop a pregnancy before it begins. It's really helpful to know your cycle, especially because let me preface this by saying they will get rid of birth control. If you read Project 2025, the birth control's next. They're going to get rid of, we're literally going back to the 1950s. They are going to get rid of birth control. So it's going to be really, really important to protect our younger women who are still of reproductive age, or maybe you are one of those watching me. So stock up on Plan B. So educate the younger women in your lives on their cycle, on pregnancy, on reproduction. Get a book. Don't think that if there will be information online, because I look at Afghanistan. I bet you anything they don't have information about this shit online. So buy books, stock up on Plan B. You might even want to hide it. Find a safe, secure hiding place for it. Again, I'm thinking worst case scenario, kind of Gilead type shit. Who knows if raids might happen eventually. So find a good hiding place, stock up. Not only like me, I'm going to stock up just in case anybody needs it. I'm going to have it. Every woman, every man who has younger women in their lives who are still of reproductive age, stock up on Plan B. Go now, today, stock up on Plan B. The other thing is, if I were still a woman of reproductive age, I would look into long-term birth control now. You have 2 months before inauguration. Go make an appointment. I would go with Planned Parenthood because I'm also a little worried that HIPAA will go out the window. They're already talking about monitoring women's cycles in some states, Project 2025 shit. So I would go to Planned Parenthood only because, and I'm not saying that it's guaranteed that your information would be safe there, but I think Planned Parenthood is more prepared than like your regular OBGYN to fight any overreach of the government to seize your records. Planned Parenthood has been on the front lines for decades for fighting government overreach. So I just feel like in my mind, Planned Parenthood, if you have access to one, might be the safest place to go get long-term birth control. Like, I'm talking about like an IUD. Or the rods that they put in you. Here, let me see. I looked some of this stuff up for you. So the birth control implant. It's a tiny rod that includes hormones, and it's inserted under the skin in their upper arm, and it can prevent pregnancy for up to 4 years. So that might be all you need, right? Birth control implants is one. Sterilization, of course, there's tubal ligation. If you're someone who thinks you never, ever, ever want to have kids, I know I wanted it in my 20s, but I couldn't find anyone to do it because I was too young. True story. And many women have this story. They were like, oh, you're too young. You're going to meet a man and change your mind. Well, 57, never once changed my mind. So that is an option. I think it might be easier these days, especially now. So that is an option. There's an IUD, of course. One of my closest friends had the same IUD literally for like 20 years. It's not recommended that you do that, but an IUD is a really, really good form of birth control that'll last a long time and maybe get you through any craziness that's coming up in the future. There's a birth control shot, but that's only 3 months. I wouldn't do that. There's a vaginal ring that you insert yourself, kind of like a diaphragm. And condoms. You might want to go ahead and buy a lot of condoms. Actually, whether you're a man or a woman, go buy and you're still sexually active, but go buy a shit ton of condoms because they might, I'm thinking about, gosh, suddenly this has all been aimed toward women, but I'm thinking about the gay community. Go buy all the condoms because they might go away. They might disappear and they wouldn't care if gay people start dying again of AIDS. They wouldn't fucking care. So, if you're a gay man, go buy a shit ton of condoms right now. As well as women, because I really do. I think birth control is mentioned in 2025. They want to get rid of it. The other thing is, if you are a young woman and you have an app to track your cycle, see if you can, before you delete it, get rid of it completely, take it off your phone, make sure you can delete any personal information first so that it's completely scrubbed before you delete it, just so that information isn't floating out there somewhere in case some records are grabbed by an overreaching federal government who wants to track your period. And if you do get rid of the tracking app and you want to still track it somehow, don't track it on your phone. Don't put little codes on your calendar. I used to put red dots on my calendar. what I'm thinking is, let's say they don't do a national ban, although I think they will. But let's just say they don't, and you live in a state that bans abortion, and you want to go visit your friend or relative in another state, they might stop you at the state line. And they might ask you, if you're still a woman of reproductive age, they might confiscate your phone. And if they confiscate your phone, and a code, every 28 days you have a red dot, or every 28 to 30 days you have a code, it wouldn't be too hard to figure it out. And they look at your phone, they looked at the code was last marked 5 weeks ago, they make you stand on the side of the road and piss on a stick before you can cross state lines. I know, it sounds crazy, but I think it can happen. So just don't track anything on your phone. Find another, maybe just leave it at home. It would probably be the best bet, and maybe hide it even. But those are my thoughts right now. This is my way of resisting. We need to take care of our young women now. We need to make sure they are able to take care of their health and their body and continue to have choices even when they try to strip us of everything. They literally want to take everything from us and just want us to be these docile, weak, yes, sir, no, sir, what position would you like me in right now, sir? Beings. That's what they want. I hope this helps you. This is one way we can take control. This is one way we can resist. If you have any other suggestions for women, younger women, leave them in the comments below. I would also like to do, I think, another video about how we might be able to help immigrants. And so if you have any ideas about that, leave them below. Also, there are a couple resources for getting abortion. I'm going to leave those in the description below. There will be a couple links for organizations that help women get abortions. I think those might be our lifelines when everything goes black. And they might also be resources for this micro. I'm being very careful here choosing my words. I hope you recognize that. But I'm hoping they might also be resources when there is a complete ban. All right. We can't lay down and let them win. They're scared of us, and that's why this happened. They are terrified of strong, vocal women. We scare them. I made this shirt a long time ago. I think I'm going to start promoting it again. So I made a Be Happy, Be Free, Be Kind. That has been kind of my tagline on my other channel. But this is a superheroine, and it's Be Happy, Be Free, Be a Bitch. And the reason I made this is because whenever I spoke my mind, whenever I stood up for myself, people accuse me of not being kind, of being a bitch. Well, you know what? The bitch is fucking back. All right. We're going to get through this together. We have to stand together. And this is how I see it. Let me know your thoughts below, and I will see you soon. Take care.